years ago, I actually noticed that I was starting to thin, right? My widow's peak was changing. I was seeing more scalp in pictures and in videos, and I was seeing and noticing more hairs on my pillowcase and in the drain. And at that point, I freaked out, right? The first thing I did, I went and got Finasteride, right? I'm like, I gotta get Finasteride because I gotta stop it, right? Well, I never actually took it because I was worried. I'm like, wait a second, I don't necessarily want to go the drug route if I can do some things and modify my behaviors in order to actually stop it, fix it, and reverse it. And so I did. And I'm pleased to announce that my hair now is thick and amazing like always. And so today, guys, I want to actually go over a few warning signs that your hair is not healthy, even if it looks good. I also want to go over some things that you do on a daily basis that unfortunately are damaging and destroying those luscious locks of amazingness. The first sign that your hair is not healthy is that you have dandruff, all right? This is a scalp condition that unfortunately not only is embarrassing, it's damaging your hair potentially, all right? Now, a few different causes of dandruff, right? There's dry scalp, which some people experience in the wintertime, or if they take hot showers, you'll notice super small little flakes occasionally, all right? This is a mild form of dandruff, but most people, they don't have dry scalp. They actually have the more severe form of dandruff, which is seborrheic dermatitis, all right? And it's caused by a yeast-like fungus that actually feeds on the oil, right? It basically feeds on the oil, your scalp produces more, and it causes these flakes to actually develop. I've suffered with dandruff the majority of my life. I tried all of the standard shampoos, right? Everything from Selsun Blue to Nizoral to Head and Shoulders, and nothing cured my dandruff. But then I found an active ingredient called coal tar in a product from Neutrogena called T-Gel. It smelled funky, it was brown, but it worked incredibly well. All right, and so at Pete and Pedro, I decided to try to create a better version of T-Gel, honestly, because there were things that it was missing in my opinion. And so when I developed Control, which I'll link to down below, I basically doubled the coal tar that was in Neutrogena. So I made it twice as strong. I also added some other active ingredients like tea tree oil, which helps nourish the scalp, all right? It also is an antifungal. I also added menthol to help alleviate the itch. It also feels amazing when you use it. And then I added glycerin. Glycerin is basically a scalp conditioner to help hydrate and nourish the scalp. It's literally the strongest, best dandruff shampoo on the market, and it cures dandruff 100%. And it's not just my opinion, guys. Go read the reviews. I'm going to link to it down below. This shampoo will cure your dandruff. Second sign your hair isn't healthy, it's dry or brittle looking and feeling, a little bit frizzy even. All right, now, the one thing you need to understand is your hair strand is made up of two different parts. In the center, it's called the cortex. Well, over top of the cortex is something called the cuticle, all right? The cuticle is what gets cracked and damaged and frays if not conditioned and protected. If you look at it under a microscope, it would almost look like it's got like scales on it, as opposed to a hair that doesn't have damage, that is nice and smooth and uniform throughout the entire strand. The reason why a lot of hair gets damaged, though, there are a few reasons, right? Number one, hot showers, all right? This is one of the big things you got to avoid. Hot showers are one of the worst things for your hair. They honestly like dry it out, they strip it of the moisture and the essential oils that are required for your hair to be soft, sexy, and silky. And so turn the temperature down. The other thing you got to make sure is that you're conditioning your hair. That's one of the things that a lot of guys neglect. They're like, oh, I'm a dude, I don't need conditioner. Using a conditioner after you shampoo every single time is the best thing you can do to make sure that your hair is healthy. It basically goes in, it penetrates the hair, it helps smooths the hair cuticle, and it basically replaces the hydration that is lost through the showering process. The other reason why hair becomes damaged and brittle is because you're using cheap products that have a lot of alcohol in them, all right? Whether or not it's hairstyling products or you're using cheap shampoos, this is another thing that you're doing that unfortunately is damaging your hair. If you've got dry hair, start using a hydrating shampoo, all right? At least for a few months. It's gonna basically have the argan oil in it. It's also gonna have other botanicals basically designed to help heal your hair, because that really is what it's all about. It's about undoing the damage that you've done by using the cheap hair products and also using high heat, whether or not it's in the shower or using a blow dryer, which is the next reason why a lot of people damage their hair. If you're gonna be using a hair dryer, the first thing I would recommend is upgrade your hair dryer. Something like the Leif and Swift, I've talked about that a bunch of times, all right? It's an ionic hair dryer that basically is gonna be healthier for your hair, and it's not gonna damage it like a lot of the cheaper hair dryers you're gonna find, right? The truth is they are a little more expensive, but once again, it's your hair. It's worth it. Another pro tip, guys, in terms of hair health is after the shower, instead of drying it with a towel and like doing this action, you wanna pat your hair dry, all right, to remove the excess water, because when your hair is wet, it's more fragile, right? Because it's got a lot of hydration around it, it's all saturated, and so you got to be more careful. And so patting your hair dry is a better option to prevent breakage, damage, and it actually coming out. Brings me to the next thing we got to talk about, and that is hair loss, all right? Not normal. Now, technically, it is kind of normal because the majority of men will experience some form of hair loss or thinning throughout their life. But the truth is that it probably isn't as common as you think, and it may not be the reason why your hair is actually falling out. All right, if your hair is starting to fall out, a few things you should check. All right, number one is your testosterone level. Unfortunately, one of the big reasons why a lot of the times we lose our hair, whether or not it's on our hair or our body, is because of decreased testosterone level. The reason why so many dudes are experiencing this is because of all the EDC chemicals that are found in our grooming products. EDC stands for endocrine disrupting chemicals. Your endocrine system is basically responsible for hormone regulation. And these chemicals that are used to manufacture a lot of the personal care products that we're using, not to mention water bottles. Drinking out of plastic bottles, gentlemen, is one of the worst things you can do for your testosterone level because of something called BPA, which is an EDC chemical. It leaches into the water beverage you're consuming. You consume it and your testosterone level drops. Guys, I'm telling you, it is time to upgrade the quality of the products you're using. Another sign that your hair is not healthy, all right? Your root is thick, but the end is thin, all right? This is a sign that things are starting to change in terms of your hair follicle, all right? One of the things that happens as you get closer to actually losing your hair, all right, is that the hair starts to get a little bit thinner and finer. If you're somebody that is noticing your hair is getting a little bit finer, it's not as thick as it used to be, this is a sign that something is going on and you need to change it, all right? Something else you need to do is increase your nutrition, all right? That's one of the other things that I found. For me, instead of using the Finasteride, what I decided to do was actually go natural. And so I ordered a product called Nutrafol on Amazon. It's really expensive though. It's a bunch of hair healthy natural vitamins that basically go in and give your scalp and your hair the nutrients it needs in order to grow as well as possible. One of the main nutrients is actually biotin. Biotin is one of the nutrients that is unbelievably beneficial for not only your skin, your nails, but your hair, all right? If you're somebody that wants to grow healthier, thicker hair faster, start supplementing biotin. It's an incredible way to basically give your body and your hair the nutrient it needs in order to really take it next level. And that's something that I noticed, right? I started taking the Nutrafol for about 3 months and I noticed that my hair started to get a little bit thicker, right? It started to look a lot better. And I started to notice that there was less hair falling out and being on my pillow and in my drain. A few other hair mistakes that unfortunately damage your hair is not washing and shampooing properly, all right? The deal is you gotta get in there to your scalp and really scrub it, right? We talked about dandruff and buildup earlier, but you gotta make sure you go in there not only to scrub it, but to stimulate the scalp. Another pro tip is use a shampoo brush, right? It's got these soft little bristles, right? You apply your shampoo and then you get this brush and you simply move it around your head, all right? These little bristles actually will go in, they'll deep cleanse your scalp, but they also stimulate blood to come to the surface of your scalp, which is going to in turn bring more nutrients to the hair. It also feels freaking amazing. Anyway, the next tip is about conditioning, right? When you condition your hair, instead of just putting it on and rinsing it out, what I want you to do is shampoo first, apply your conditioner, and chill, right? Use the time to wash the rest of your body, leave it in your hair for about 2 to 5 minutes, and then rinse, all right? This is a great way to help it, basically allow it to condition the hair a little bit better, making it healthier, silkier, smooth, and stronger. In conclusion, gentlemen, your body, it's amazing, but so is your hair, and if you want to keep it, you got to listen to the warning signs it's sending you saying, yo, Brian, something's up, you better stop it, or I need this in order to fix it. Guys, if your hair's falling out, if it's dry, if it's brittle, if it's thin, if it's thinning, you can stop it, you can fix it, you can correct it. It's about identifying it quickly and taking action.